Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Sex and Dipity. I'm Dr. Limor Blockman, and I have wonderful guests in the studio. Why don't you start?
Well, my name is David Corrado, and I'm a stand-up comic, and sitting to my right is Dark Mark, the goth comedian.
That sounded a lot like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, but
Oh, my God.
my name is Dark Mark, and I am a Dr. Limor-aholic, and
Well, who isn't?
God.
so yes, but I am Dark Mark. I am the host of the Dark Mark Show here at Skidrow Studios,
Yes.
8 to 9 every Thursday. Dr. Limor was my guest.
Of course, and every one of my listeners, or rather viewers, know of it and know of you. Of
Oh,
course.
really?
Yes.
I just
They
heard
all
you on the
commented
previous show.
I was just on
Yes.
Dahlia's Dark Side, which is another great show here at
Yeah,
Skidrow Studios. All
yeah.
those shows in Skidrow Studios
I know.
are different and fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's a little bit incestuous with the interplay between all these different shows.
Isn't that right? Yeah.
But
You know,
I don't know. It's whatever.
they say incest is best.
Incest is best, and yes, and we haven't had David on our show yet, but he will be on the show.
I know, of course. So it's so great to have you. Thank you so much. For
I am
joining us.
so glad that you had me on, and this is a long time coming because I remember when you were on my show. It was so much fun.
It was.
And
so
I've been
much
looking
fun.
forward to seeing you
I
again.
know, and
you
I'm
wore
so
your
glad.
short shorts and your tight shirt just for me. Well, it is kind of hot out there, and I worry.
It's ridiculously hot. It doesn't matter. I was saying to Jenny that I'm wearing like a side boob shirt, and it's like I'm still hot.
Well, first off, side boob is always hot.
Yes. But
And almost every shirt that you wear is a side boob
yeah,
shirt.
no, but this one is in particular. It's specifically one of these shirts.
It's difficult for me to keep my eyes on your beautiful green eyes when I'm speaking with you.
It always is.
What's with the ball up there?
What's with the balls under the desk?
Yeah, I know, on top. So yeah, so what's going on? Tell me, how have you been?
Oh, things have been very good. Actually, it's interesting because I knew I was coming on Sex and Dipity today.
Yeah.
So I actually had sex last night
Oh, really?
my God, that's
with a
great
young
news.
lady, and it was, because I had to do some
Is this
research.
a one-timer or?
I don't think so, because we
Okay.
actually, it was, and that's part of what I wanted to ask you about.
Yes.
Because we had a lot of sex.
Okay.
But we also
What's a lot?
numbers?
Like
No,
hours?
like what's a
or-
lot? Like
In
in terms of duration?
hours,
or?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we were a bit, it was, I mean, it was about 5 or 6 hours, but it wasn't all sex. There was a lot of cuddling.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's lovely.
That's good.
It's lovely, but
But
she's,
Right.
she has a man.
okay, she's involved.
B, she has other lovers.
Okay.
But
she's
she
not
told-
monogamous.
She's not. But she told me that this is the longest she's ever been naked with a man.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I love being naked all the time. That's
Well,
my natural
Well,
condition.
we could try to break that record if you would like.
No, but seriously, I think it's obviously the most natural way to be. And if I was, to pick that, I would have chosen to just be naked and, all the time.
Well,
Because
it's
Really?
interesting because I talked to Jeremy at Skidrow Studios, and he said it is okay to do the show naked. He doesn't.
yeah, I've heard it from him many times.
I'm sure you have.
Take your clothes off, Mark. Let's see what's going on here.
If you insist,
so-
David. No, David has to
tell
be
me.
fully clothed.
I know.
You know what's funny? Let me tell you something about Dark Mark.
Yeah.
He does my show. I do a show in a church basement on Fridays, and this guy is a total professional. This guy he can work squeaky clean and be funny and get laughs.
Thank you, David.
And he can do this show and talk about sexual matters and be candid and frank and, and let everything loose. So
Yeah.
he's just funny. He's a comedian.
Thank you, David. I appreciate the
You
compliment.
both
I can
are
do I can do clean and dirty comedy. A lot of people don't believe me, and a lot of people don't believe that I do your show. It's funny because I don't get booked for a lot of clean stuff because people think that I can't do it, but I can.
Yeah,
do it.
you can.
Absolutely.
It's different skill set. Different skill set.
Well, it was funny. I was in New York, and I was doing a lot of like really rough Long Island gigs
Yeah.
when I first moved to New York. And the guy's like, "I got a gig, but I don't think you can do it." I'm like, "Well, tell me, I can do
Because
it."
it's clean.
Yeah, he's like, it was at a coffee shop / ice cream store,
Ah,
and they had little
there were
kids.
kids.
There were kids there,
Huh.
and I was the only one that was completely clean. Nobody else, like everybody else, slipped up.
That's a good talent.
And two, there was a family there that had like 2 little kids, and they started coming back every week specifically for
Wow.
me because they thought I was the funniest.
Wow. That is incredible and impressive because, to be honest, I am not able to do this. I'm usually I'm it's hard for me to kind of screen things and not, be just as explicit as I like to be. What were you going to say, David?
Well, it's like I had no choice. I mean, my natural sex is such an important part. Sex is the beginning of life. I mean, it's like it's and everyone thinks about it all the time. And to try to edit yourself and not talk about it, it takes a real discipline. And comedians like Jerry Seinfeld, let's say, they kind of consider it a special kind of skill to be able to be funny and not talk about sex.
Right.
Yeah, but
it's a different kind of comedy. Yeah, I agree. I do appreciate people that are able to do this. I'm not a comedian, obviously, but I find it hard. My audience could never be underage.
Exactly. My audience either. You see my show.
It's really not really in there. But I want to go back to your session last night.
I do too.
Because I'm really interested in hearing about it.
I like to go back.
I'm sure. In time, yes.
It was good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Some people, when you get chemistry with somebody and it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Have I met this girl? Or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not clear if you guys are going to have it again because she's
No. She said, yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but here's the thing. This is what my confusion is, and this is why I need to talk to a sexologist.
Yes.
So obviously, since there was a lot of cuddling and a lot of it was
lovemaking.
It was a lot of lovemaking,
intimacy,
fucking.
Yeah, it was more intimate than I had expected.
Okay.
Because I knew the situation. I knew she was involved. I knew she had other lovers. But it turned out to be more intimate than I think than either one of us were expecting.
Okay.
Oh.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing, or how should I proceed?
Well, it's always a good thing because it means that there's a better connection there. If it's only fucking, usually, if there's no emotional contact, even on a basis of a first time, then it's only fucking and there's really no... And you can feel it. I mean, anybody can feel it. Both parties can feel it. As soon as you go in bed, you get in bed, you realize if there's a connection, or it could be animalistic and it can be just carnal.
Right.
But it can be also intimate. And if it is intimate, it means that there is some sort of a connection that can be prolonged, that can be, take place more repeatedly, and it depends on, both parties, what they bring into it. Now, you say that she's involved, and also that she's not monogamous.
Right.
Depends how you it fits in your life.
It fits perfectly in my life because that's the alternative is back to the Vaseline. So it fits perfectly with my life. But I don't want to complicate her life. I was under the impression this is basically somebody I met last year and they told me they were involved, so I gave up. But apparently she liked me the whole time, and she said...
And she contacted you?
Well,
you came across each other?
Well, she said, I'm going to be at this goth club.
At a certain time.
So I said, so are you going to be there? So I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then I saw her, and she's like, my man can't satisfy me. I'm like, well, I bet I could. And then
I have the solution for that.
And so then we hooked up. And like I say, I was expecting it to be more carnal and less emotional, but it was both.
Really?
But so
that's a good thing. Yeah, definitely, because the carnal part is sometimes it doesn't happen either, but mostly it's easy to get. No, but mostly it's easy for most people. It's easy to get once you get in bed. But the emotional and the intimate part is not necessarily taking place, and you come across many encounters that are so great in terms of an orgasm, but not anything else. And you kind of, you're done.
Another orgasm.
Another orgasm, yeah.
I have never been with somebody who was in a relationship before, but isn't there a fear factor that this guy's going to come after you?
No. Actually, I had I shouldn't say this. This is it's something I shouldn't admit, but I have done this before. I actually fell in love with a married...
Lovers that were involved.
I fell in love with a married woman. Her marriage was ending, and we went out for a couple of years. And then...
So the relationship was long.
The
relationship was long, and then
she... You're a gigolo.
No. I guess you could say that, but... eventually, it was weird because she cheated on me with her husband, which was very strange. So,
well, no, it's not. It makes sense.
Because at the end, it fell apart. But we're still good friends to this day.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Now, let me if I can, let me
Yes.
get into the mechanics of sex.
Oh, please. Yes.
Because this is another thing. And I told her, by the way, just lest people think I'm talking out of school, I told her I would be asking you questions.
Oh, definitely.
And
yes.
these specific questions.
Okay.
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 So she told me that, and she said, don't take this personally. First off, I started out with oral and was complimented on my technique, which has happened before.
Good cunnilingus.
Good cunnilingus.
Okay.
All right.
I've been complimented on that before. But it's interesting because every vagina is different.
Absolutely.
Some women respond to cunnilingus, some people respond to fingers, and some people respond to different things with cunnilingus.
I think
different
all
things with
women
fingers.
respond to cunnilingus if there's a good connection between the lovers.
Well, I've had women that cunnilingus and cunnilingus wasn't enough. They needed more.
Oh yeah,
They needed
that
harder.
happens.
They needed harder.
Right.
It was too soft. They
Intensity.
needed the fingers because it was a little harder
Right.
thing. So
Right.
so I've had that. It's like, and so here's the thing. So she thought I was. She said she liked the cunnilingus.
Did she climax?
Well, this is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that she has never climaxed with
Via
a man.
cunnilingus.
With a man. No,
Oh,
period.
with a man at all.
With a man.
Wow.
With a man. Period.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
conquered that barrier.
Oh, no, well, I did not.
Okay.
Oh.
I did not. But it was the first time, and I made it clear. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
And can you vouch for this?
Yes.
It's very rare on the first time. You have to really know the body well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's happened on the first time. I'm saying,
Do you want me to analyze it and say?
please analyze
Okay.
and say.
Yes. So the thing is, in general, women, and it's very unfortunate, but most women don't climax via coitus at all.
Right.
Really?
No,
Yes.
I'm aware of that.
Really, in very high percentages. So it's, I don't know, close to.
Interesting. And if
70 to
they do, there's
80%.
usually some sort of clitoral stimulation along
Right.
with
There
the
has,
coitus.
if it's only penetrative, if it's only just regular intercourse and just penis inside a vagina, no other alternatives, then it's very rare.
What's so
And
funny?
I'm thinking of my own jokes inside my
I'm
head.
giving the whole, yeah, you think of your own jokes about it?
Yeah.
But the thing is really, I just want to say that in general, women don't tend to climax via only vaginal regular sex. So either if they do, eventually during the intercourse itself, during the encounter, it's either because there was a very prolonged foreplay or while the man is inside the woman, there's some sort of stimulation. Or, for instance, the best way for a woman to climax is via even, intercourse, is the woman on top position, because
Right.
she can get a friction of her clit, over the guy's body, and so it's much easier to do it this way.
And I found when and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I found when you have a woman bent over and you could stimulate the
Right,
clit
if you
that way,
touch it, right.
or if you're on the side, or she's on the side, it's kind of a side scissors
And she
thing.
can touch it too.
And
it
you
depends
can
on
stimulate
the
her.
comfortability.
Then that will work. But yeah, usually
Right.
usually our mighty penises are not the
No, and it doesn't matter the size. And I want to get to a study that I've came across.
right.
But it is, and it's very interesting because guys are so consumed with the size of their penis.
The shape, though, is another thing.
Yes.
Because I've gotten compliments on the. It's like I don't want to.
My
I don't want to.
penis.
I don't have any pictures with me, but I've gotten. Sure you do. So my parents
You
are
have
going
yourself.
to listen to this, but the shape of I've got kind of like a mushroom thing at the. It's like
You're circumcised.
I'm circumcised.
Okay.
That was what we did back when I was born.
No, because
1966.
in general in this country, most men are. Okay.
So, like, I've been complimented on there's like a rim, like, that kind of like
It was
gives
a nice
clitoral
Yes.
stimulation.
The head is
I've
longer than the
gotten
shaft.
compliments. I'm Irish. I'm not packing,
Right.
I'm
But,
not
but,
attacking.
but in Israel, they don't circumcise.
you
They do
kidding?
circumcise. What am I thinking? Yeah.
Jews
course.
are the Jews
Right.
always
Yeah,
circumcised.
what am I thinking?
Yes.
So
but,
anyway.
but in general, in Western societies, most men are circumcised
Yeah.
for medical reasons,
Right.
not necessarily religious reasons.
healthy
Right,
hygiene.
because the foreskin has, encompasses many problems, and it usually attracts a lot of STDs, and it really is much harder to keep clean when you have a foreskin.
Well, I suppose there's got to be some kind of reason why they came up with circumcision, because it seems like anti-intuitive to cut off a part of your skin on your dick.
Well, I'm not going to go into the religious reasons, but in general, it's just healthier for this reason that I just exemplified.
The same reason that the Jewish people stopped eating pork because they were getting sick from trichinosis.
Right.
It
all has a rational explanation, but in general, as I said, not even for religious reasons, men have the tendency. Most societies prefer circumcision because it's just healthier, because it just is less problems. Even though there are men in this country and, of course, out of this country that are not circumcised, and a lot of women that prefer it, the uncut men.
Oh. What do you prefer?
I'm going to avoid talking about myself.
I can read her mind. She's into uncut men. I can tell. I can see it.
Of course, you can see it. How can you see it?
I've got ESP.
My shirt.
Yes, yeah. it's written on your side boob.
Right, I know.
Men.
It says.
Well, actually, you could write that.
No. I'm sorry. You like cut men. I'm sorry. That's what you like.
Oh, so you corrected it. Okay.
Yes, I screwed up my own joke.
I was just.
she's got some medical data that she wants to come across.
Yes, no, because exactly. I want to talk about this whole idea that men are so obsessed with the size of their penis. And honestly, women care much less about that because, as we said...
Depends on the woman.
Depends on the woman, but in general, I'm not talking about a micro penis. I'm talking about something average. Yes, because,
You're talking on the wrong show.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the micro penis.
I don't have that, by the way.
Yes, because that, could be a problem. Average. But in general, women have... really not such an infatuation with the whole idea of size. There are women that are size queens, but since women don't climax via just intercourse, mainly, of course, it's important for the guy to have a reasonable sized penis and an erection and all of the above, but in general, it's not the most important thing. And there was a recent thing that was released. It's a device called andropenis. It's an Australian device that is supposed to enlarge the penis. Now, what it does, they vouch for, and listen to this, 1.5 inches longer and half an inch bigger girth. That's what they promise. Well, but what you need to do for that is to use that really kind of scary device that I've seen. I don't have a picture of it, but it's really kind of intimidating. And you have to use it for 6 hours a day for 6 months.
Is it like a vacuum cleaner? Or is it? What is it?
That's a lot of.
How do you feel about it?
Is it a suction? Well, what is it?
It's not a suction. It really is something that you kind of dress your penis with, and kind of literally stretch it. Right. You stretch the skin. Now I'm gonna get to the results of that because a certain physician in Italy took it into test. And really kind of testing and tried it and saw, the results with his sample. But what do you think? I mean, would that be something that you would ever consider using?
No, not me personally. I mean that sounds dangerous.
It is medically.
They've got vacuum things that have been advertised in the back pages of pornographic magazines.
Yeah, there are men.
There are a lot of men.
Penis pumps is what they're called.
Yes.
And you can't deny that a man with a large penis tends to be more confident than a man with an average sized penis or even a small penis.
That is true because of society. In this society and this day and age, and I want to say that in antiquity, a large penis was considered animalistic and wrong.
Wrong?
Yes. Just in I'm talking about Greek and Roman Empire.
Sure.
Big breasts and big penises were out.
Well, good thing that we're in this society.
Yes, so I'm happy. But in general, yes, everything that was oversized was not acceptable. The ideal was small breasts, small perky breasts, and small penis. Size, the preference was the size of a boy.
Okay, well, in that case, then I'm not going to get that. I'm going to invest in a time machine. I'll go back to ancient Greece and ancient Rome.
But I'm saying exactly that. What do you think? Do you know the average size of a penis?
I think it's between 5 and 6 inches, and I'm somewhere in that area.
Flaccid or
no, erect. But like the penis of a razorback gorilla, which is like a 400 or 500 pound animal, is like only like 1 or 2 inches.
Yes. It's different. Humans, there's a whole evolutionary explanation.
They believe that the penis on a human male grew to attract women. The same way, probably,
Well, there are a few explanations that have to do with conception and a lot of other reasons. But what do you think, Mark?
I'm going to defer to you. You have the data right there. I'm not going to venture a guess.
I'm going to take Tim in a minute.
Tim.
But yeah, we have Tim, and I really want to hear his.
Have you heard?
I've heard Tim. I
really
heard some
want
of
to
the show
hear
last week.
what he has to say. But yes, it's very true that the average penis is between. My heel is the size of an average penis. The heel that I'm wearing today,
5 and 6,
is between is like 5.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that size of a penis, and most men.
But the penises are girthier.
Yeah.
Yes,
because
yeah.
I've got.
Yeah,
I think I have a
preferably.
decent girth. So.
Yeah. So yeah,
Ladies
but
out there
that's-
listening.
listening, pay attention.
Yeah.
So the thing is, but with this device, urologists said that they don't advertise it and they don't really support using it for anybody that has 3 inches and above. And 3 inches is kind of small
Right.
if you take it into consideration when I'm talking about an erect penis.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you the information when it comes to what were the results. But I'm going to leave you I'm going to take Tim, but I'm going to leave you with something that the men that were pursuing this procedure or treatment were suffering from something called penile dysmorphophobia.
Well, the way I see it is like once I'm naked in front of a girl, it's going to have, unless she
So
really.
you don't suffer from it.
No, because look, once it's a done deal. I figure. I mean, look, if she wants me to leave, I'll leave. But I doubt
Once
it's
you're
gonna.
naked with a woman.
Yeah,
in
it's like
bed,
once I got my
don't think
clothes
she's gonna
off.
leave.
Yeah, she's not going to say your penis
Okay,
is
I
too
have
small.
to go.
Goodbye. There's
Even
the
though
door.
I came across men that were too endowed, and I had to run to my car and leave.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
why it would never work out between me and Dr. Lamar.
Okay.
Or maybe it
let me
would. I don't know.
Let me take Tim. Tim, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Good.
Tim.
How are you?
You cannot fuck with 3 inches of cock. I'll tell you that right now. It is so
can't?
useless.
Oh.
I had a 5-inch cock in my
Yes.
ass. It was a transgender girl.
Yes.
And she could barely make it happen.
Really?
And so,
5 inches was not good in your ass?
There's
Anal sex with
enough,
5
there's not
inches?
enough length for stroke. I mean, you can get a real small, and I have a small ass.
It depends
So
on
if
the
I had
ass.
a big
yeah.
Thanks
ass,
for sharing.
forget.
This guy's
well,
pretty
it's a
open.
nice
I'll tell
ass,
you.
but it is small.
So you think that a 5 inches penis is too small in general?
Here's a quote I wrote.
Yes.
I have no problem with a small cock. Just keep it away from my mouth.
Okay. Let me write that
Duly
down.
noted.
That would be. I'm going to put that on a T-shirt. I think.
Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah.
That's
So yeah.
copywritten. No kidding.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
what-
so
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
girth
Yeah.
and confidence with a big cock. I've got a 7-inch cock, average thickness.
Yes.
Nice.
And so I don't have a giant cock.
No.
And I am hugely confident. And here's something that's funny. That guy that I
No, but
I told
you are
you
very
about,
kindly sized, so you shouldn't be out of confidence when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Okay.
That's true.
You're
Yes.
above average.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
are
yeah,
above
yeah,
average.
Sure.
Yes.
All right, okay. So,
Yeah.
but I was with this guy for a while
Yes.
who had an 8-inch cock and thick. It was like a wrist.
Wow.
And this guy was so squirrely and so up. I'll tell you though, I've seen I've seen cocks that you almost want to call suicide hotline. They're so depressing to see. Like 1 inch. A 1
really?
inch.
No.
I'm not
That's
kidding.
small.
A
No.
one
You
to
didn't come
2 inch
across
cock.
a 1-inch cock.
Erect?
One guy, it was just a head.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Oh,
What did
geez.
you do? Did you run for the hills?
Well, no, it wasn't a physical thing. It was while I used to do massage while I was in
Oh,
college.
okay.
I see.
So you
So
didn't
I
come
would
across him
see
as a
them.
potential. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother. There's nothing to stroke.
Yeah.
As a
Oh.
Use 2
partner,
fingers.
It's so sad.
Dave seems to know about this.
It's sad.
I've heard stories from you.
You know,
Off-
so this is
off,
what
uh,
I'm saying, that
off
the dysmorphophobia, this situation where someone is uncomfortable with a certain part of their body, and when it comes to this, it's a penile situation. But I find it very sad, and a lot of doctors would recommend actually any sort of treatment just for the psychological aspect of it.
Well, I will tell you, the funny you should mention it, Dr. Lamar.
Yeah.
And I'm an average size guy,
Yes.
you know, but you know, with society, with porno movies, with
Right.
with you know, I thought I was small,
Yeah.
and I had somebody look at my penis, tell me it was perfectly shaped, but didn't comment on the size until I had a girlfriend, and I was I was a little experienced as well, and I remember I was making some joke about the size of my penis, and she's like, "You're not small."
Yeah.
And
So she kind of reassured you.
She reassured me, so
That's
I've had a problem
terrific
since.
because it is true that in this society, we're like, what we're exposed to is really not the norm. I mean, if we watch porn and we assume that this size of breasts or this size of a penis.
We watch Sex and Dipity, and we assume
Yes, also.
that every woman has as well endowed as Dr. Lamore.
So we get the wrong messages from just media and I don't.
Wrong?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
no, because in general, we not everybody is built this way, and it shouldn't be. I mean, honestly, it's not necessary. I have to say that a penis that is larger than what you just mentioned, I don't know, 7,
You would head for the
that
hills.
matter, is really could be for women very uncomfortable.
But Tim made a great
adapt.
point that the
You
confidence.
adapt. Your pussy
No,
stretches.
that is not
your
true.
bottom stretches.
It doesn't matter because it could be very uncomfortable. I'm talking from a woman's point of view. It could be very uncomfortable, and every encounter could be like a fucking hassle. I'm sorry. You have to like grab all the lube and
boy.
like certain positions. It can be really a task, and it's not
It's a personal
fun.
thing. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a very personal thing.
Right.
Some women like getting hammered like that with
Right,
something that is
right.
oversized, and
Right.
others just prefer your regular size cock.
I saw a cartoon in Playboy magazine, which
Yes.
is doing in doing research for this show. I've watched I've read it.
He does
and
extensive
Yes,
research.
yes.
There was a cartoon where this groupie is sitting in front of an NFL player, and he's African American man. He large, broad, and she's
Yeah.
like, she's looking at like what he's packing, and she's like, I think I'm going to go back to being a rock groupie.
Because it could be scary. Honestly, it could be.
But Tim made a great point in that somebody that has an average size penis that's confident,
Right.
and it was a great point about his ass, but it was somebody who has an average size penis that's confident is better than a guy who's huge but not confident.
Right.
Right, Tim?
Right. Absolutely.
For me, I'm not into rights and wrongs. I'm an existentialist, so I'm not really into labeling rights and wrongs or goods
Right.
and bads.
What's
we
good for you?
are what we are. Whether
Yeah.
I don't see not being confident as a bad thing. I see it as just your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you come to me as a client, I'm a therapist, and say, I've got problems with confidence, then we work on it. But I see everybody as perfect, just the way they are.
Right.
And if you want, because sometimes those things, like alcoholism or drug addiction,
Yes.
sometimes those things, we see it as a problem, but sometimes it works for people because the next step might be suicide.
Well, yeah, let's stop right there because I don't want to get our listeners depressed. But
Even though you got me on the show.
the thing,
Back
I'm
to
sorry.
cocks.
But the thing is, honestly, I mean, people have to remember, and women in particular, really should kind of mention it to their man that I think an erection is more important than the size of your penis. I mean, yes, erectile dysfunction is treatable,
Wrong.
but okay, it's treatable to a certain level.
You
Yeah.
can always sit on it, even if it's 3 inches or 4 inches.
Well, I wasn't talking about the size. I was talking about the functionality of it.
It has to be erect.
It has to be erect because otherwise, and that is to me, I think, and to most women, more important than the actual size, and just the tendency of the guy to really kind of satisfy the woman, regardless of the size. I just brought this experiment, and by the way, they tried it in Italy. And the results were not good. The actual, extension of it was approximately half an inch to the erect penis. So after 6 months of use, 6 hours a day,
But it did increase a little bit.
just a bit, very little bit.
I would not even want to experiment in that, in that area. But you're talking about erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Since I've been alive, they've come up with pills that actually work. I
Yes,
mean, for
they do work.
hundreds of years, thousands of years,
Yes.
they've tried to figure out a solution to this problem.
Yeah.
Guys not being able to, get erect,
Yes.
and now they've got drugs that work.
Right.
Of course, they have side effects.
Yes,
So you got to be
everything
careful.
has a side effect.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you what else works. Stare at a picture of Dr. Lamore
This guy is such an animal.
for a minute. If you don't have an erection, go see a doctor.
I had a very good friend who was very sexual and into
Yes.
his 60s, I think.
Yes.
He had developed impotence, and he said he tried everything. I mean, literally everything.
Yeah.
And
Medically.
sometimes even like Viagra, and so
Pharmacologically.
even looking at somebody who's very attractive to you, it's just you think about that because
Well,
a
it's
lot of
functional. It's functional. It's a matter of blood flow and a lot of other factors. So not necessarily. And I don't know about Viagra. Usually, does all these drugs do work? I don't know why it didn't work for him, unless he had a heart condition.
Yeah.
But in general, there's a misconception only also about the whole idea of erection. I mean, people tend to think that it's kind of that an erection happens when you kind of clench, because the penis looks like it springs into action and becomes hard, but actually it's a result of relaxation.
Well, I'm sure you've heard this old saying: the biggest sex organ in the human body is the brain.
No, it's the skin.
It is the skin.
But yes,
Really?
yes, the skin is the biggest sex organ because it can really be stimulated if you think about it. But the brain is big, yes, as well.
But I mean, in terms of attraction, like to your partner, there's psychological
To be
things
aroused,
too.
right?
So
Yeah, true,
in terms
true.
of arousal.
True.
So you're absolutely wrong, David.
Yeah, I'm wrong about most things. But
Why are you saying?
Well,
What you think?
Mark knows a few
David,
things.
you're nodding your head in this studio.
Jenny doesn't think I'm. Jenny's
What do
saying
you
I'm.
think? Let's have another woman in the act.
Because
What do you think, Jenny?
Am I
What do you
right or
think?
wrong?
No, what do you think? Do you think it's more important for a man to be well endowed or to know what he's doing?
I think he needs to know what he's doing.
More importantly,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter the size.
Yeah.
Size is less important.
Because you don't just need a penis for sexual activities.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Use your finger. You can
and
use
the
it.
skin, the skin is the number one sexual organ.
Well, I was just talking about this with Andy, actually. I thought it was the brain. But he worded it. I don't remember how he worded it. That
It has the most effect on sexual stimulation.
the brain does, but
Right.
touch is a huge factor.
Right, and the skin is all over. I mean, that's what we have. That's
Yeah.
the main thing. I mean, yeah. True. Thank you, honey.
All right. Thank God we got another.
Could you and
Female.
Andy
Female
demonstrate
voice
that
on the
show.
in the
That's a-
booth here? We want to.
But it's true. No, so how do you feel about it? I mean, do you support that? I mean, did you come across women that preferred larger penises that told you?
I do. I was with a girl years ago who she told me that her previous boyfriend, or one of her previous boyfriends,
Yes.
she only had one or two dates with him
Yes.
because she was not satisfied with the size of his penis.
Because it was too small or too big?
Small.
Okay.
Too small.
Okay.
And she said it was like she was kind of trying to describe it, and it was like.
Just trying to describe
She
it?
said that it made a weird sound when it went. She said it was
Oh
like
my
a
God.
snap, crackle, and
Was that
pop.
really his penis?
She
Yeah,
said
what
that the
was it?
size of his penis, and then I started to feel good about myself. It's because I never thought that. So she said, "You're okay."
Yeah.
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 But
Okay.
so I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe for some people that's an issue.
Did you want to say something?
Well, I was going to say because it says we're looking at me, so I thought you were asking me the question.
Yeah, I was.
But to be honest with you, as I said, I've only had 2 women comment on the size of my penis.
Okay.
Honestly, which is the one that said you're not small.
Right.
And I've had more. I've heard girthy a lot.
Okay.
But I did have one lady that I gave an amazing screaming orgasm orally to.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Very good, but then she actually said that the size was not sufficient.
Really?
But
She commented on it?
But she worked in the porn industry.
Okay. Well,
So-
she's used to big guns.
Apparently so.
Yes.
Which is fine. I mean, it just didn't work out.
Yes.
But, you know, it's okay.
Well, it's also, what you get used to and what you're interested in. I really feel that this whole experiment that they did was kind of redundant because I don't think that the amount of investment that you go through is really worth the half an inch.
But I'll tell you what, if they do come out with something that's probably less complicated, or even a pill, a real pill, because I know there are pills that do this, that could increase the size of the penis, and it was studied and it was legitimate, that would
All men would run and use
it would outsell Viagra.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
it would be
Well,
comparable.
but it's a different story.
Right, but
I mean-
it would be comparable to Viagra. And
Have they
I'm
talked
sure they're
about
working.
the effects of growing of having that type of medication?
Yeah, well,
Well,
it's
yeah,
not. It's
there's-
not out there. It's really
You can't wear shorts.
utopic. Yeah.
Well, no. There's no.
Well, they don't have this kind of medication yet, but
I thought
we're
Mark
just-
said that they were.
No,
testing
he
this,
said
that's
if
why
they
I said-
were,
No,
right?
I'm sure people are working on it.
Yeah, no,
but
they
if,
didn't.
If they had one,
If they had one,
it
yeah,
would be
no.
a huge seller.
I was talking
I don't
about.
think it'd be a good idea because I
Yeah.
think then you'd have men that can't go back to their normal size and would just.
Honestly, that's what they did with this device. They tried to initiate something that kind of ended up not really being sufficient. And I think that, as I said, the investment is so big and so vast.
Yeah.
6 months
Comparing
passed
to-
anyway.
Because they have this stuff called
you're
extends
doing-
that's supposed to be
really?
it's supposed to increase the size of your penis. Ron Jeremy does commercials for it.
Of course.
So
But that's like funny because Ron Jeremy came, he brought it.
but it's a huge seller.
from home.
But it's a huge seller.
Right, but you know that he was
Yeah,
endowed with it because he
course.
gave himself, he would suck his own dick.
Did Woody?
Yes,
Yeah,
I-
but
that's what he's known for.
I saw.
Tim, what did you
I
say?
must be watching different videos.
Yes, no, but yeah, Ron Jeremy's
It's not
known
a
for
pretty
that.
picture. Believe
Yes,
it
no,
to me,
not a
but-
not a good picture. Yes, Tim, what were you saying?
The thing that you're talking about, that experiment, there are other things out there
Yeah.
where you're basically just, not to be funny, but you're basically just pulling it, and you're pulling it out from how deeply it's embedded into your body, and that's what you do. You just pull it and squeeze it, and you can make it thicker and make it longer
Yeah.
just by massaging it. That's
If that was the case, I'd have the hugest penis in the world.
Well,
it's not masturbating,
Right.
because with masturbating, you're not pulling it. You're jerking it up and down, but you're not making an effort to pull it out from your body.
Yeah.
And squeeze it.
I don't know. It
It's a
sounds
different
too
mechanism.
tasking and too complicated. I think guys should be happy with the size of their penis.
Hey, why not?
That's what I think.
I'm happy with the size of my penis right now.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah, but you can
Honest-
say that about everything. That everybody should just be.
No.
Why not?
I'm saying
why
it
not
no
do
because I'm
something
saying it that the
different?
functionality of that organ, specifically, if it's a confidence boost, it's a different story because you need to psychologically work on on this theme, on the idea of being less confident because you have a small penis. That is not really the case. I mean, it's not necessary for the functional part of having a good intercourse. And this is what this organ is used for. I'm not talking about the whole idea of
I
siring
think it's a personal
children.
thing. If you want a larger penis and you'll feel better with, it's like people
But
get
it's not.
implants. Women
It's
get
not attainable, and I think it's just too much of a work. But let's talk about the intercourse itself. I wanna talk about something, and you guys tell me, all three of you, how do you feel about it when you have just a general encounter? Do you prefer? I don't know. Do you guys prefer condoms or no condoms?
I've never
does it
had sex
depend?
without a condom.
Never.
Never.
Okay.
I did.
Even
I
with
think
someone that
once
you were
or
in a
twice.
relationship with.
That's correct.
Why?
I have never not had sex without a condom.
You've always had protected sex.
I'm terrified
Even
of
with a
pregnancy.
partner.
Terrified of pregnancy.
You don't want to have kids.
Really?
Absolutely.
But like, what about a woman taking any
Yeah,
contraceptives?
blowjob.
I've had sex with women that take contraception with a condom.
Really?
I am so terrified of having children and the disease factor, but
But-
I,
A disease factor, yes, but if
But
you
would you-
are in a
would you-
relationship,
mainly children. I've been in relationships and never taken off the condom.
Wow,
So,
that's impressive.
And
How about
BJ's
you,
too?
David?
Like,
No, BJ, I'm sure
No,
you.
BJ's no.
Okay.
And conolingus too.
Okay,
Without-
so
No dental
you
dams,
are
no dental dams.
exposed to
So I am exposed,
Yes.
but it's the pregnancy issue that is my main
that.
concern.
That is.
he doesn't
scary.
want little dark marks running around.
Wow. Okay,
And,
David.
and thank God.
How do you feel about condom use?
I'm totally on board with this guy because dark mark. It's like I don't. The idea of bringing children into the world, they're like a big investment in time and trouble.
Oh my
You
God.
know, with the braces, and then they got to go to
braces,
college, and it's
and then
like,
they
and
deal
then they
with
have
the size of their
problems.
penis.
Yeah, and then they're all worried about the
it's too
size of their
much.
penises and
I
stuff.
know.
But I don't say that to impress anybody. Matter of fact, people think I'm crazy. People,
I do.
a lot of guys that I've told that to, and a lot of women I've told that to are like, "What?" They're
No,
shocked.
it is different.
But
It
in
is
this day and
different than the
age-
average- no, you're right.
Right.
To be cautious, it's a very good factor. Not everybody's practicing safe sex. I mean, especially in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Tim?
I
you a
don't
big
have
condom user?
general sex. I don't sleep with people that I don't know well or that I don't at least have some level of an emotional connect with.
Okay.
Because I don't really like empty sex. It doesn't feel nice to me.
All right.
I mean, yes, it does feel nice to a degree, but it's cold. It's like I've said in the past, I've had that, and it was hot, but cold at the same time. And
Yes.
and I don't like rubbers.
So you don't use them.
I only avoid using them if I know the woman can't get pregnant. And I'm okay with having children, actually. I like.
Okay.
I worked with children for years.
So if you're saying that you're not using a condom, what do you do? Do you practice withdrawal, or do you come out of the vagina? What do you do? What is your
I
practice?
come anywhere she wants me.
Okay,
to come.
but not inside the vagina.
Yeah,
Or do
sure.
you? Okay. Okay.
If she likes that more,
Because they kind of
it's
yeah.
less messy.
It is less messy for you, maybe.
Yeah, well, she's got to go to
It's
the
less
bathroom
messy for
immediately
you. What?
to let out that puddle.
The puddle, yes.
Well, this
That she sits in. But the thing is, yes, David, what did you want to say?
this one girl I was with said she would prefer that I didn't use a condom, and
Yes.
so I finished inside of her, and then a friend of mine gave me
I'm laughing already.
he gave me like a hash brownie or something, and I got
Oh
all
my God,
paranoid, and I'm like,
a whole-
she's trying to have she wants my
She's
kid.
stealing my sperm.
Yeah, she's gonna have a kid.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna be a dad.
My
I'm gonna
swimmers.
I'm gonna be,
I've
father knows
had
best.
women say that too. I've had women say, I'm on protection. Can we do it without a condom? And I said, no.
And you would not.
No, but
Okay.
it wasn't a big argument, but it was just like I just prefer to do it like this. And
Very smart.
Okay, it is very smart and not common.
I'm not kidding.
Very uncommon. I just
I
want
think
to.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's way smarter to be that safe.
No, it is.
I've never worked well with condoms. It disrupts.
and I actually made a recent switch from Trojan ends to the Thinsulate.
Oh.
I like the
Really?
thinner
And
condoms.
it is. It's
It's
better.
nice. They're nice, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they found that the withdrawal, the coitus interruptus method, is working just as well as condoms when it comes to not siring children. I'm not talking about STDs.
Mm-hmm.
But the percentages were remarkably close.
Wow.
For with condoms, it was about 18%, 17% failure.
Wow.
And with coitus interruptus, it was 17. It was 17%.
I didn't know it was that high with condoms.
Yes, it is
Really?
that high.
Wow.
Yes. And so it's very surprising that overall, we're not talking about, again, you're talking about the whole idea of being careful in terms of
Sure.
STDs as well. But if you are concerned about having kids or not having kids and avoiding, getting anybody pregnant, it does show that the whole idea of coitus interruptus is actually, of withdrawal, is actually working just as well.
Is that right? Well, I guess I could see that, but there's something called pre-cum, which is it's a
But
it's a real thing.
I'm talking about the whole cum, not the pre-cum.
But can't
Yeah,
like
but there's always a little in there. You can't
Right.
ever.
But
You
this
can
is
never
the
be-
same percentages of a condom.
oh
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I've never had any luck with condoms.
Obviously, you're not really using them. So you didn't have fun with him.
It depends on my partner.
Okay. So
Like
you're talking both genders?
Okay, all right. Here's a story. I had a partner, a male partner.
Yes.
And he was large, and he.
Of course, he was.
He used to fuck with. He used to fuck bareback, and he would get urinary tract infections. So
Yes.
with me,
guy.
he was getting it from the shit. And so with me,
Yes.
How
I met
romantic.
him.
I honestly, I didn't know that men could get UTIs.
Of course you
You
can
can get
of course.
fucked up bad from.
Wow.
No, of course.
From anal
UTI. You
sex,
have a
if you're not
urethra, you can get
careful.
UTI. Yes, what?
You can get messed up bad from anal sex
Of
because
course.
it can go up into your penis.
Right.
Shit.
Yes.
So
right.
So with you-
he was never in me without a condom.
Okay.
And
So with men, you wouldn't practice unsafe sex. Only with women.
no,
Okay.
it depends. It depends on the man. If I know
Gotta
them
know
enough,
them.
if I know their background, if I really know them and really trust them.
Okay.
Would you fuck a woman in the ass without a condom?
Would you have anal
he
sex
would
with
have
a
to
woman?
know. He would have to know the woman, I suppose.
I not somebody I just met at a bar or on Craigslist or something like that. but the woman
Craigslist,
that
of course not.
the woman that I'm dating, the woman that I care for and love, who
Yes.
I know her history, maybe, because that's the other
Maybe.
part of it. You know, you're not really clean unless you do an enema or a douche. She's still going to have stuff, and I feel
Regardless,
funny about
you
that.
still have stuff. I mean, that's the place for it.
Dr. Lamore, can I ask you a touch question?
Yes.
Oh boy.
This is off topic,
Yes.
but I want to get this in before the show ends.
Yes.
Okay. So, I last night, and as I said, I was with this woman.
Yes.
And she's never had a man give her an orgasm.
Okay.
Now, here's the
At all. Via
At all.
any form
via
of...
anything.
Okay.
So I said, I want you to show me
How?
how. And so she masturbated, and I was kissing her. I was
So
caressing
she was
her.
masturbating or taking your hand to do it, or
No, she was
using
doing
hers?
it. She was using hers. However,
Okay.
I was touching her all over the body. I was
Okay.
kissing her all over the body.
Yeah.
Kissing her and with playing with the breasts and all that.
worked.
So yeah, it worked, but it took a long time.
Of course.
But it was really and here's the thing. Now I've noticed
Yes.
using the hand, guys and women use their hands differently.
Oh, very true.
And this is not the first time I've seen this woman masturbate, because I used to, and people have complimented me on my techniques
Yes.
with the fingers.
Yes.
But I just don't have that jackhammer technique that women have with their vaginas. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
How do I develop that?
Well, I
With your
think it's
hand?
practice.
You ever see a woman masturbate? It's like
Well,
a jackhammer sometimes.
The reason is,
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I've done that, but
Okay, the
women can do
reason
it a
is-
lot better.
honestly, it takes a lot of practice and it takes
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, because you get tired.
Right.
Honestly, it's very hard to maintain. And I suggest, because
Mm-hmm.
it's much easier to begin with, in a while after you learn, the ins and outs of the woman's
Mm-hmm. So to
body,
speak.
specifically, yes, pun intended, you can stop using that. But I prefer, and I think that most women should suggest to their partners to use some sort of a clitoral stimulator.
Like a little
something
vibrator.
but something small, not penetrative, something that is just used on the clit, because as soon as you get her close
a
to it,
pocket rocket. That's what they.
well, I specifically the pocket rocket, whatever, is lame.
Really?
I find, and it's really not usable.
Rabbit, nothing.
The rabbit is pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, there are many new ones even out there. The smaller, the better. There's even one that kind of slits on your
Right,
finger,
right,
and you can
yeah.
really just
Right.
put it on, and it's really kind of gentle and rubbery, and it's
That's
nice
a good
and easy.
suggestion.
Right.
Because I want to be the first one to do it.
No, but
And I
seriously,
want you to help me.
yes, no, but I think
She's got a
I think that's
boyfriend.
the best way.
No,
that
no,
you-
with the girl
With
I'm
the
having
woman.
sex with now.
Yeah.
not
Right.
with Dr.
Okay.
Lamore.
All right.
So
all right.
what I suggest is the next time that you see each other, you should be accompanied by something like that. And I think
Good
that
idea.
and I think that once you get her to climax
Mm-hmm.
with that, then if you can continue with your finger, she's gonna multi-climax via
Right.
your finger.
Right.
So the first time you'll get her off with this, and then you can continue with your finger, and that will
Because obviously, if it
bring you
hasn't
to
happened with
the
any man,
promised land.
there's some sort of mental thing too.
Yeah.
So getting her off with the vibrator will eliminate that mental block,
Yes.
and that no man has ever got me off, and then we can really
Right, and then you can use yourself or your fingers because she'll be, after a woman climaxes once, the
Right.
second, third, whatever
I-
10th time is by far easier to reach.
I
because
remember.
she's already, she's there.
I know I was asking the right person. Yes, thank you.
Yes. No, so that is definitely, and I suggest even for you guys to go together and pick that up.
Sure. Okay.
Because-
Who, me and Mark? I'm not.
Because the woman might know, for instance, I said that the rocket pocket is not usable,
Really?
and then I don't like it.
But you mean like I don't want to name a name brand, but they have the things that you put on the finger to vibrate.
Right.
That's what you suggest.
I suggest a smaller, one
Right.
that you
Smaller
really
thing
put on
that
your
fits-
finger.
oh, okay.
Because also it's very gentle to the touch, and it's also very easy to maneuver. You don't have to hold it because it's
Right.
it's
on your
it
finger.
dresses
Yeah.
on your
I'm not
finger.
flipping you up, but it's on your
No,
finger.
but it
yeah.
really is. Yeah. So it's the easiest, and then I
put
think,
that-
yeah.
Do you put that on the clit or below?
No, you put it
the-
on your
above the
finger, and
hole?
then you put it, and then you play with it all over.
Right.
You just move it around.
Because she
Can I say
doesn't like
something
direct
real quick?
she likes indirect stimulation.
Yeah.
I think although that's a good suggestion, I
It's
feel
Jenny
like
speaking, right?
having stimuli like that it would cause like a desensitization. And I think for the girl that you went out with is that she's gotten herself off with toys and not with actual
Right.
people. So
No,
the
no,
toy-
no, she hasn't.
never with anything.
Not that I'm aware. We didn't get that far into it,
Not with toys.
but she
I
says
want to say something about
I guess for my
the desensitization.
yeah,
I know.
it's-
It's to me. Look, on my end, professionally, it's a myth because there are women that get desensitized, but I think that mostly these women are either didn't spend enough time trying to pleasuring themselves, regardless of the use of toys,
Their libido was not.
and also I think it's mostly a myth that women get attached to a vibrator and then they cannot come regularly. I think that it's a lot in the practice and a lot in the connection with the partner. But in terms of clitoral stimulation, because it's really, as Mark said, the jackhammer, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint that little clit, good enough. Some women come really easily from clitoral
yeah.
stimulation. Others, it takes a long fucking while.
Right, and
It
that's-
can be
that's the
like
case
an
here.
hour. It can be an hour. Honestly, it can be an hour.
Yeah,
So-
and I think it has to do with how Mark is saying mentally too.
Oh, of course.
Because
Of
honestly, like a girl, like you have to feel, even for a guy, you have to be in the moment. You can't have thoughts running through your mind. And
Right.
of course,
Shut off the phones.
Of course, it's the first time. Well, I don't know if it was the first time you
First
guys.
time last night, yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of those
Was it
things.
virtual?
You need to get to know each other, but I do
Yeah, I
feel-
think that's
yeah.
what it is because
Right, the
then-
connection.
Yeah,
I agree.
and communicating and knowing what works for your partner and what
Right.
doesn't work. Because at the same time, too, the girl might not know. Okay, yeah, I've used a toy to stimulate myself there before, but obviously a finger is different, and so I'm gonna talk to him and say, this works out better, this feels better,
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors to it.
Oh, of course,
but-
of course.
But
I
Jenny's
think
making
in
a good
terms-
point, but I think your point was good in that start with the vibrator,
Right,
and then use
from
your
that
own finger.
point, from that point, first of all, the body, especially the female body, has a tendency to register things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that goes both ways. If
Right.
a woman doesn't climax again and again with a certain person, or doesn't climax on her own,
Right.
she kind of, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's kind of that method.
Right.
So if a woman learns to stimulate herself a certain way, and especially get attached to someone that knows how to do it, so after the first time that you'll get her there,
Right.
she's just gonna keep on climaxing, especially if
That's
she's
going to
able.
get through the mental block.
Right. Yeah, and I think you should definitely try it and go together and pick up something that you both think is not too
That makes
intimidating.
sense.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Get rid of
because-
her.
Well, that's the.
Find another girl. She's already
that knows
too much
how to
work.
climax.
This guy Tim,
Get
he's
rid of
got some
her.
wisdom.
All right. Well,
Get a girl that comes easy.
I will.
You know,
You
Tim.
don't even like her that much yet.
No, he
Well,
likes
it's
her
like, are you really
plenty.
that attached?
I will.
You
I
can
will.
like someone else that comes easy.
Honestly,
I will
women
take it all
don't
suggestions.
come easy.
I actually like the challenge.
Yes, no, but it's true.
Forget
The
it.
challenge is good.
Yeah, when your jaw is on fire and your tongue is
Trust me, my jaw
annihilated and
my jaw was a little. My jaw and tongue were a little out of practice last night. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm still getting it back into place. So
Well,
you were talking about distractions. I was going down on my girlfriend
Yes.
recently, and the dog was barking. I'm like, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah, the dog. Yeah,
He's
it's
a
always,
sea
like
it's
that
always,
close.
blocker.
yeah.
Sea blocker.
I just want to
that
say,
close, and then
right.
the dog starts barking.
You lost it. The thing is, and I'm going to sum up our nice show with that. And I just want to say, yeah, it was just, did you climax? I just want to say that women, that it's very funny because both genders have their issues. And while men are very easy on getting an erection, they're very easy on losing it. And then
what issues do men have?
Women, as I said, men are easier on getting an erection and then losing it. But women, once they get stimulated and they're hot, they're going to get to that climax. They're going to get to fruition.
Better.
So I just want to say thank you, Tim, for being with us. And thank you,
Thank you,
David.
Tim.
And thank you, Dark Mark. And I
Thank you,
say
Dark
again, when your show is on.
Dark
I
Thank
wanna
you,
Mark
hear
show.
Dr. Blockman, for having us.
Yes. Thanks for
thank you
interrupting
for
my
having
plug. Every week on Thursday night here on SkidrowStudios.com, The Dark Mark Show. This week is the 1-year anniversary of The Dark Mark Show.
That would be amazing.
My special guest, G. Tom Mack, will be in the studio, who's going to be singing Cry Little Sister from the Dallas Boys soundtrack.
That's amazing.
Live in studio. We're going to have a magician, and we're going to have Sin Fisted, who I know you've seen on the show,
Of course.
and what she can do with her body. So it's going to be great. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Goth Comedian. And Dr. Lamore, we would love to have you on again anytime.
I'll come. I'll be very happy to come. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Limor Blockman. Bye.
Thanks.
Shook me out.